Okay. So now we've talked about what we did for this week. I want to get into, we've got kind of a new thing that we're going to be doing on the podcast. And this kind of goes into the Gene Wilder stuff, all these classic movies. Now, me and Gerald obviously love movies.
Gerald and I, David.
Gerald and I love movies.
You're a lawyer, David.
I know, come on. Gerald and I love movies, but there's a bunch of classic and older movies that we either haven't seen or just we just never got a chance to get around to it, or we've heard about it, how great it is, but we never actually sat down and watched it, or we watched it when we were kids and really didn't digest it the same way as we would now.
And I've said multiple times on the podcast how, like, I pretend to be a movie fan, and I am a movie fan, but, like, I haven't seen a lot of these core movies. Like, I've never seen Blade Runner.
Yeah, I know.
Like, Aliens, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen.
You've never seen Aliens?
No, I know, it's super embarrassing.
You've seen Alien, the first one.
Alien?
I think so, a long time ago, I don't remember.
Right, okay, so that's
But,
my
like,
point.
super embarrassing, but, like, yeah, we're trying to get more into, like, these classic
cinema.
films that we're doing, David. The top 100.
The top 100
according to IMDb.
IMDb.com.
Yeah, we looked at a bunch of lists. IMDb is what we focused on.
Well, originally we were going to go with American Film Institute, but they haven't updated their top 100 since 2007.
Yeah.
And so there's a few movies. There's not a lot, but there's a few movies between 2007 and now. It's a decade.
And we read off Rotten Tomatoes a lot, but we didn't really like their list, where the IMDb list seems to be more comprehensive. Obviously, it's community sourced.
Yeah, the Rotten Tomatoes one seemed more modernist. Like there was too much. There was a
like Casablanca was on the list. Give me a break.
Yeah, not even just that. Like it's the cult of the new, right? So like the new hotness is like at the top 10. It's like there's no way.
Yeah,
Inside Out is better than Godfather, right?
No.
Like it's just not like it's a great movie. Both of them,
they don't even deserve to be
right. And IMDb has a good balance between modern, that cult of the new, versus old classics.
Yeah, classic movie.
And ultimately, I think what we wanted to do, we're going to go through the top 100.
So it means we're committing to this, guys, for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So listen up.
Okay, so we're calling it. We were talking about the names. I came up with what was it? Pinnacle or the Pinnacle of Filmical.
I said
Cinemacal?
Pinnacle.
Pinnacle of Cinemacal.
We'll work on it, guys. We'll work on it.
Workshop.
We're just
But top
brainstorming.
100
We're
films,
brainstorming.
IMDb. Right.
We're watching them week by week. This week we got number 100.
Yes.
The Apartment.
Yes, The Apartment. This is a 1960s classic.
Yep.
Again, this is a big reason why I wanted to do this, because like I would have never ever watched this movie.
Okay.
It stars. It stars Jack Lemmon.
I've never seen the movie.
Right. So it stars Jack Lemmon, as well as Shirley MacLaine. Those are the two main actors.
Jack Lemmon. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, these are. It's directed by Bill Wilder, who did Some Like It Hot, classic comedy, 60s, 70s. Film director that did a lot of comedies. Now the movie, we're obviously not gonna spoil anything. We'll give you our review.
We're not?
No. We'll talk about it in general.
It's 1960, David.
Spoil it.
Well, no, because I want people to go watch the movie. I think that's the whole point. Like we'll talk about it. We'll give you what we thought, what was good, what was not good.
My thing is, my general consensus of these movies that we're going to review in top 100. I think the newest film on this whole entire list is 2014, so we should just spoil it. But go check out this movie.
Okay,
we'll just talk about what we think.
Let's do this.
I like spoilers.
Okay, let's do this.
I mean, it's 1960, guys.
Let's do. Yeah, just spoiler alert.
You've had plenty of years to see this movie.
Let's do this. We'll do like a review. We'll talk about it, and
then
we'll
stand a review.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about it without spoiling it, what we like, what we didn't like, and then we'll do a spoiler part.
Sure.
Okay. So the synopsis of the movie is Jack Lemmon plays C.C. Baxter, who works at an insurance company in a big city. I think it's New York.
That's New York. Yeah.
Did they say New York specific?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's right. They do say New York. So he works for an insurance company in New York. He's basically a minion that works at this insurance company. Hundreds of people work there.
Okay.
And he
has an apartment.
He has an apartment. He is a single bachelor. And ultimately what ends up happening
through the
1960s.
Right. Back in the 1960s, because he's a bachelor, some of his executives that work at his insurance company find out
David, not some. All of the
pretty much all of them learn that
sleep around their lives.
They have extramarital affairs, and they use his apartment as the place to do these extramarital affairs,
of course,
without having to like rent a hotel room or
they provide him compensation.
Yes,
for
they
this?
pay him for it.
Airbnb did not exist in 1960.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
I have an apartment, people.
So obviously that is the general idea of the movie.
Hilarity ensues.
It is very funny.
That's a good premise.
And this is what's so crazy about this movie. We'll give our review, but it's set in the 1960s, so obviously there's the movie is based around sexism, right? I mean, it's based around the idea that
it's the 60s.
Yeah, these male executives are having extramarital affairs, and
every single executive,
and how they talk about it throughout the movie. It's very Mad Men. Did you watch Mad Men?
Love Mad Men.
It's very Mad Men. I mean, it feels like the insurance company almost feels like it's a
Sarah made the exact same thing. It's like Mad Men the movie. It's like everyone has extramarital affairs.
And it's
the
like
60s.
right.
Ha, ha, ha.
And so it is well acted. Jack Lemmon is amazing in this movie.
Yep.
But before we talk about what we like, what we didn't like, let's do our review. Now you haven't seen it.
No, I'm listening to you guys. I'm a fan.
Okay, so remember, thumbs up, great movie. Thumbs to the side,
Meh.
and then thumbs down is a bad movie.
Poopy.
Now, because this is top 100, I think the curve has to be a lot harder. Like hard. Like you can't just like do thumbs up on all these.
There
right?
are thousands and
I'm
thousands
saying,
of movies.
right? That's what I'm saying. Is this when you say it's a great movie? You're saying
my
this
opinion
is
of
this
a great movie.
is this should this be in the top 100 movies of all time?
Top 100 means you must see this
That's
movie.
tough because, like, I'm not I've seen obviously a bunch of movies, but I haven't seen a lot of these classic movies we talked about on the podcast
Right.
before, where I've missed a bunch of these classic movies. So that's gonna be tough for me. But I'm just gonna give my personal
Okay,
review.
whatever. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, 2
Come
thumbs
on,
up.
it's on the top 100. I mean,
It should be on the top 100, and I was completely blown away by this movie.
yeah, like I don't see a lot of classic movies very often. But we've all seen the whole, we've all seen Gone with the Wind, Wizard of Oz, all that stuff.
That stuff, yeah. But
Yeah, but like I'm not an avid viewer. My wife has seen this movie before. I have not. So watching it with her, we actually watched it last night.
yeah.
This is just such a good movie, and like the subtle comedy of it is like,
And you
it's
both
so,
loved it?
Yeah, it's just so funny, and like it's not like poopy weed humor like these days and age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like highbrow-
classic highbrow comedy, suicide comedy, which I didn't think was a thing.
Yeah,
But,
they make some jokes about
one of the
suicide.
last jokes in the whole movie is
Suicide
like
comedy, people.
hilarious.
If there's any reason to go see it, suicide comedy is the reason to go see this movie, apparently.
It's just so good. It's 93% Rotten Tomatoes, so
Well,
you know
it's
it's
top
gonna
100.
be a good movie.
I mean, all these are going to be good
Come on.
movies. But
Yeah.
the reason why I love this movie is the quirkiness of the characters. The characters in here feel so grounded. They feel real. They feel like Jack Lemmon's character, C.C. Baxter, is a kind of a quirky guy who has like a heart of gold. He's a great, nice guy, but he gets taken advantage a lot by these executives because he can't say no.
Does he
Of
feel
course, they're
guilty
like-
about like having these people having these affairs?
No, they're his superiors.
So he's trying to
appease
appease
or
and also trying
placate.
to get placate.
Like, oh, I'll
and-
let you use my apartment because you're going to give me a promotion.
right, you're going to talk nice about me to the boss, right?
Interesting.
Exactly.
So there's a little bit of that, and then Shirley MacLaine plays an elevator girl at the insurance company. So again, 1960s, there's elevator operators. And
I mean,
stuff
just
like
push a button, guys. How hard is that?
that. I know, but actually,
I would love an
you know
elevator
what-
girl.
You know what's great about it though is like I want to wear hats. Why don't we wear hats again?
I know when he's like, "How should I wear the bowler hat like this?" I'm like, "Oh my god, no one wears hats."
I know we don't wear hats
I
anymore.
try to wear my Overwatch hat. Wife doesn't like it.
No, but I mean
Can't
like
pull it off.
like formal hats, like a fedora or a bowler hat. We don't do
No,
that anymore.
fedoras. You just look like a weirdo.
No, but that's my point.
My lady.
Yeah, right, that's my point. Anyways,
I agree.
The-
Bring back the hat.
right.
I agree with you.
The
Hashtag bring back bowler hats.
Okay, the acting in this is
Phenomenal.
is amazing for a comedy. And here's the big thing: the dialogue between characters is so believable. The little quirks that characters have, it's consistent throughout the whole
It's
movie.
all genuine.
It's all super genuine. It's all people, like the characters are people you know. Like it's that guy that's a nice guy, but he's kind of like he's not sexy and he's not like
Cool
he's not
or-
cool, right? And that's who C.C. Baxter plays,
It's kind of in over his head.
right?
kinda thing,
And then like and he's trying to like
Can't
juggle.
say no kind of
Can't
deal.
say no. Yeah, he's a nice guy. He always wants to do the.
Not only that, but he
right thing.
literally can't say no because if he says no, he's going to get fired.
Right. He gets that's where it starts dwindling out of control. But and also Shirley MacLaine is like she's this sweet girl who is kind of rough around the edges, but also likes the wrong guys. And
Most women do. But go
right,
ahead.
right. Send
Which
your
is
hate
why you
mail.
got your wife.
Right, but exactly,
yours.
they hate the. But my point is it's just such a well acted movie. The comedy again is classic comedy. The jokes that are made in here are about human nature and about relationships
Yep.
and
Those are
about
the best kind of movies.
Those
right?
are the best kind of comedy because it
I found
it's
myself like just laughing so hard at some
Yeah.
of these jokes.
It's a
And like these day and age, you like the weed jokes, the fart jokes,
Right.
the dick jokes and
Right.
stuff. That's this day and age. But like these
So
jokes,
it's,
I found
it's
myself.
witty humor. It's witty.
Oh, it's very witty.
Yeah, I found
Okay.
myself
So you have to
laughing
listen
so
to the
hard
jokes?
at some
Yeah.
of the
It's
subtle
not something that
comedy.
you have to watch. That, like, it's not just a visual thing. You have to listen to what they're saying.
and
Exactly,
what's
yeah.
crazy about it too is like some of the jokes are even appropriate like today. Meaning like there's a joke. Okay, so he goes home at the beginning of the movie. I'm not gonna. This isn't gonna spoil anything. He goes home. He's a bachelor, so he's sitting in front of his TV. He's going to open up a TV dinner and watch this great movie. So turns on the TV, and the TV's like, "We're going to show you this great movie starring these great actors." And he's like, he puts
Right
a big-
after this.
and he's like, "Right after our sponsor." And he's like, "Oh." And he sits there and he changes the channel, and he's like, "Oh, nothing's on, nothing's on." So he goes back, and they're like, "Okay, that was our word from our sponsor. Now we're going to get to the great movie with these great actors right after our second sponsor." And it's just like. and he's like, "Ah," and like that's now.
That's so relatable.
That's funny.
Right, it's still funny, and he's just like, come on, get to the
Unless
movie.
you have Netflix, but yeah.
Right, but the point being is like the jokes in it are great. There is,
I like when they were like listing all the actors. He's like, yeah, okay, here we go.
he's like, yes, gonna be.
Right
big.
after the secondary response, he's like, oh my god,
Right.
Just turn off the TV.
Here's where this movie I had no idea it was gonna go. It's a comedy through and through, but
Sure.
it takes a moment to have some darkness, like actual
involves suicide,
like
You're
actual
whoa.
darkness, like and the thing about that is like so many comedies are obviously afraid to go there because again, it's supposed to be a comedy with a capital C, right? But the thing that this movie actually does well is it balances that well, but it also creates comedy is only funny if with sadness, right? Like it's
They play off each other.
right.
for
It's
sure.
the juxtaposition of those two things, and it
You
actually
have to laugh to keep from crying sometimes.
right. And like the movie deals again with interesting things like suicide. We'll keep bringing that up, but like it also deals with like betrayal and like.
Does he fall in love with? I don't want to give too much
Well, we'll
away,
get
but
into
I
the
assume he
spoilers.
gets a.
no, but like the
I
things
assume he falls in
happen.
love with somebody,
Right. Well,
He
that's
follows the girl, obviously.
yeah. The
yes.
girl and the guy fall in love and all that stuff. But like
which makes most men want to commit suicide at some point.
again, send your
Falling
hate
in
mail.
love. Darren Rodriguez had
No, but my point is that it deals with bigger issues than like traditional, like you're talking about, comedies may deal with. And like the other thing about this movie that no movies, well, I shouldn't say no movies do, but a lot of movies don't do anymore is like literally fade to black for a moment and then fade into a new scene. Like movies don't do that. And what's actually nice about that is it's like a comma in a sentence, or it's a
breath.
It's a breath, and it's like, okay, we're gonna move on to another scene. And like movies just are so fast paced. Like one of the things we've talked about without the summer is like everything feels like it's at this breakneck speed. Like
They say we have like a 3-second attention span
right,
now,
and this
it's
movie.
just it's stupid.
In this movie,
Slow it down.
takes its time. It's a long movie. It's like 2 hours and I think it's a little over 2 hours.
Good.
2 hours and 5 minutes.
Right, for a comedy?
Good.
That's super long.
Yeah, especially for a classic movie. I didn't expect it to be long. And after the end of the movie, like, oh, that was 2 hours. Like, it definitely didn't
definitely
feel
not
like 2
feel-
hours.
If the dialogue's good,
But
Yeah.
not only that, but there are
Over.
parts of this movie that I was like, oh, like twist, you know,
Yeah,
with
there's
the
definitely-
broken mirror. I'm like, oh, no way, you know.
Right,
and
right.
there's definitely stuff like that, and I love this movie.
So again, now we'll get into some spoilers because we'll ruin it for here, Darren. And if you want to listen, you can get spoiled about what we'll go into specific
I
spoilers.
can read the book and then go see the movie. I can see the movie and then go read the book.
Right.
Spoilers don't mean anything to me as long as the story's good.
Right.
Especially when the movie's from the 1960s.
So we're going to spoil the movie here. If you want to go see the movie before, I would say really go see this. It's on. You can rent it on Amazon. I don't think it's on Netflix or any of those streaming, but you can rent it on Amazon for like $4, which is the way to go.
Just go to Zia and buy it or something.
Exactly. The absolute my favorite part. There's a line from this movie that I knew. And I was like, oh, I was looking forward to this. You know, like the classic lines in all these old classic movies.
Okay.
And it's, I absolutely adore you. And then they're playing cards and she's like, deal me in. I know that was one of the lines. Now it's literally the last line
they're
of the
playing,
movie.
like, generally, right?
Yeah, they're playing at the very end. The movie deals with suicide because one of the characters is the elevator girl played by Shirley MacLaine.
Okay.
She is having an extramarital affair with one of the executives that work at
Pretty much the main executive.
yeah, the
at
main
this insurance
executive.
company.
Yeah, and he wants to go on a date with her.
'Cause he loves her.
Because he likes her a lot
Supposedly.
at first. And then she's like, okay, I have to, I'll go with you to this. Actually, what's kind of funny about the movie, the executive is supposed to go to this, God, and I can't remember what it's called, the name of the opera or the
Music
musical.
Man,
The
David.
Music Man. He's supposed to go to
The
the music.
classic music
Yeah, the
man.
Music Man.
76 trombones, David.
Okay, I
Love
should have
that
known.
musical.
So he's supposed to go to the Music Man, but in order to basically make this kind of quid pro quo with C.C. Baxter, he gives him the Music Man tickets so that he can use
His key to his apartment.
Key to his apartment
To
And-
bang her.
right, and the whole joke is that Baxter asked the elevator girl to come with him to the Music Man, but doesn't know that she's the girl that he's going with.
And that was quite a twist, right? At the
Right.
Chinese restaurant,
Right.
or the tiki bar that
right.
Sarah
and
pointed out.
Yeah, exactly. When I saw that, I was like,
That
oh,
Sarah
tiki bar.
pointed out. I was like, oh, it's her. Oh, my God.
So there's this whole thing where it's the same girl that she's supposed to go to the theater with him, but also have the extramarital affair in his apartment, which he doesn't know.
Wow,
That's when the mirror
fascinating.
comes.
Right.
That's when the mirror comes into play. Like, oh, she's the girl.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I love it.
hilarity ensues
Sounds
on that,
great.
and she stands him up because she just wants to be with this guy, and so he has this feeling of like, oh, like why'd you stand me up? But again, because he has like this heart of gold, and he's this quirky guy, and he can't say no, he keeps trying to
He's a dork bomb.
Yeah, he tries to, still get her attention and like her, and she's just not interested because that's just not the kind of guy she's interested in.
Right.
And he says all the classic things: "I'm gonna leave my wife. I love you. I love you."
Jack Lemmon's
course,
married,
yeah.
or
No, the
the
executive. He's
Oh,
telling
the
her, "I'm gonna
executive,
leave
that's the
you,
girl.
and I'm gonna marry. I love you, baby.
I'm gonna divorce my wife.
I'm gonna
Things
leave
aren't
my
going
kids."
well.
Yeah. And so, what ends up happening is obviously he doesn't, and she falls for it all over again, and she tries to kill herself in his apartment, which he shows up to later, and she's like in his bed. And she took all these sleeping pills
overdose.
and tried
Yeah,
to kill
so
herself.
Lemon comes by with another dame.
Right,
Dame, as they're called back then. On New Year's
Busy-
Eve, it was like,
busy
oh
dames.
crap, like she's in my apartment, like who knew, and all that stuff.
And then he puts it together because he's like, "Oh, you're the girl that the executive was with. That sucks."
Right.
And so now, what's interesting about this movie? That's like I was thinking that's where the movie was going to end, like do 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 do, like like
Suicide.
Well, it was just going to be, but then they carry on this whole idea of like her like wanting to kill herself, and now she thinks she's this worthless piece of crap, and he's trying to nurse her along. And Jack Lemmon is so great in these scenes where he's like nursing her, because it's a couple days. They pump her stomach and all this stuff and help her. By the way, there's a scene with the doctor trying to wake her up.
slapping her in
He
the face.
slaps the crap out of her, like.
Well, I'm thinking like a lot of sleeping pills trying to keep her awake, like giving her the smelling salt stuff, and like slaps her in the face, like wake up, like what is your name? Where are you? I'm like, holy crap!
Yeah,
is this,
so-
like, this would not fly.
You do what you got to do.
Right, and so what the part that I thought was really interesting in this movie is there's a part when Jack Lemmon is getting ready in the morning and she's resting in the bed and he's about to shave and he like looks at his shaver and he like looks at her and he like hides the extra
The razor
the
blades.
razor blades in his pocket because he's afraid she's gonna freaking try to kill herself.
Yeah.
So it's just it's such a weird movie for that particular thing to be a theme running throughout the movie, and she's like, "Can you open a window for me?" And he's like, "Yeah, but don't jump out of it." Like
It's like you're only the first story. You're just gonna break her ankles.
yeah,
you
like
know?
not, and it's funny, but
a lot
it's
of
like,
suicide humor.
but
Interesting.
ultimately the movie ends. It's very funny. It's like I said, it's very long, but I would
Like the last joke of the movie to me was like when you hear the pop.
yeah.
Because he talks about like early in the movie, like how he bought a Colt 45 and was trying to kill himself, and he shot himself in the leg in the
Because
car.
of a girl.
Har har har. Tried to kill himself.
He's trying to relate to her because she's still in love with him and she shouldn't be in love with the executive because he's married and has kids and he's a terrible person for having these extramarital
Right.
affairs. And he talks about he's trying to relate with her because again, he's such a sweet guy. He wants to be with her, but he's also like telling her it's that guy who's like, you know what it is? It's the classic movie where the guy who's your best friend girl, he's like your girlfriend, quote unquote, but he really is in love with you and he's going to tell you to go to the bad guy, even though he's like, why don't you just see that I like you? And he's
Like
doing
an Adam Sandler kind
And
of.
there was even a part where she's like, "Why can't I just meet a guy like you?"
and
he's
everyone
just
in the audience is like, duh. Yeah. And like
Oh, I hate that.
But
No,
there's
but
a part at like the end of the movie where you hear like a gunshot. She's like, "Oh my god!" Like he actually killed himself. Runs to the thing and he like has the thing of open champagne. Like, "Oh hey, what's up?" And like I was
Dying.
laughing my ass off. Like
Yeah.
that was hilarious
Yeah,
the way
they're-
that was paid off. And she's like, "Oh, okay. Can I come in?" You know,
right,
and-
because of the big thing, she ultimately finds that she likes him, and then
Of course.
and-
Typical Hollywood
but
BS.
You're
But
right,
go
right,
ahead.
right. But it's done in a very funny. It's played out
sounds
in a
great.
very. It's very good. I cannot recommend it enough. I was not expecting this to be good because I was like 1960s. It's a comedy. Like we're gonna have some weird like time specific comedy. But I know Jack Lemmon, so he's fantastic. I mean, he's just so funny. Like his quirkiness throughout this movie, his like little mannerisms that he does are just so likable and so
like
enjoyable.
him when he had the cold and like the tissues on the desk. He's like, "Oh, let me get those for you." Like him
Well,
like
yeah,
straight
like,
into the
it's
tissues.
just like
so
everything he
funny.
does is so it's kinetic comedy, meaning like it's not just his facial expressions, but it's like his body.
It's just genuine. You know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
he's so good at it so effortlessly. So again, cannot recommend it enough. Check it out. That's called
Go
The
see it.
Apartment. Go see it.
Some notes I did take on it right after I watched this. As the 1960s.
Yeah.
like there was definitely a lot of like slap the girl in the butt kind of humor.
Yeah, there's definitely
like, a
Mad
lot of
Men
sex-
humor,
yeah,
or not
Mad
humor,
Men
but Mad Men like style of
esque
treating
stuff,
yeah.
and it's like har har har. Apparently he rents his apartment to every single executive that works at this insurance firm.
Yeah, and like
So
one of
his
the
apartment, like every single executive sleeps around their wives,
and they
like,
make
oh,
the
God.
executives like the worst guys. Like he's talking about something about this one girl I used to sleep with is mad because I'm sleeping with this new girl, and like she's gonna tell her about my wife, or she's gonna tell my wife, and that's terrible. And he's like, yeah, think about your wife, like, and it's a joke because he's saying it in a way that's like, think about your wife, like, wow, she couldn't take that news, but he's also like, think about your wife, you jerk. Like, it's this double entendre joke, and it's fantastic. It's so...
The part where, like, one of the other executives tries to come to his apartment when he's there with the girl who's, like, resting or whatever after trying to kill herself with the champagne. He's like, oh, you got your own girl, huh? That's okay. Good job, guy. And it's
Yeah,
because
all of his neighbors think he's this tomcat.
Okay.
Because there's all these people they can hear through the walls, like all these people making love in his apartment and having sex. So he doesn't tell us, because if you were running a brothel in your freaking apartment, you'd get kicked out of it, right? So he has to tell him, like, oh yeah, just I'm really with the girls, and so
I like the Jewish doctor neighbor, right? Who was like, you're going to kill yourself someday, huh?
Yeah, like they make STD jokes and stuff like that throughout the movie. It's very funny. Like I said, it's classic. It's timeless comedy.
Anytime a nice guy wins in a movie, I like that.
You like it?
It's just so unrealistic in real life,
right?
But yeah, no, I like that when a nice guy can actually prevail.
What's the next movie on the list? By the way, we'll prequel it.
Let me look it up. I think it's a foreign film, actually.
It might be. I'm excited. See, this is the thing. I think everybody should do this. Is really just take the time to go watch some of these movies that you really haven't seen. Now, me and Gerald went through the list. I've seen about 60 of the top 100s. Now, some of those I saw as a kid. Now, when I grew up, my grandmother, we would go over there for the summer. She would have us watch old movies, play cards, stuff like that. So I was like really young when I saw some of these movies.
Sure. Right.
And I think I might have seen this movie, but again, I was a kid and it was black and white, and I was like,
you're not gonna really
you know what I mean? Like, you're a little kid.
It's like show a black and white kid movie to a kid these days.
Right. They're gonna be like, ugh,
right out.
Gross.
The next movie is the 1950 film Rashomon. That is the original title. It is a crime drama mystery, but it seems like a foreign film.
Yeah, I think it is a foreign film.
Japanese or
see, this is what I like. I like this, man. I'm going to see movies. I have not. seen
my
this
wife is like a lot of these. There's a lot of movies on this list that are Charlie Chaplin movies. My wife loves Charlie Chaplin. She's seen a lot of these movies, but I'm kind of more of the classic movies. So I'm glad I'm almost like kind of forced to watch these movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't want to seem like the guy like, I love film, but haven't seen a lot of these classic staple movies. So I'm glad we're doing this, David.
So yeah, follow along if you're listening to the podcast or on YouTube.
We got at least 2 years of this, guys.
Yeah, so go watch the movie. You can go to IMDb, just type in IMDb top 250, and then just go to we're just doing the top 100. We're not going to
just the 100.
Yeah, so then go to 99, watch it this week, and then next week we'll talk about it, so you'll know what we're talking. Rashomon, I think that's how you say it.
Rashomon,
I think is actually how you say it.
Who cares?
But it looks great. I like again, it can't.
I mean, number 99.
It's going to be 99.
It's got to be greater.
It's got to be better than the apartment.
The apartment, right?
By one. All subtitles, or
I think it is
we'll
all subtitles. I think so. Okay, so let's wrap up the podcast. Remember, if you have anything you want us to watch or listen to or play, you can send us an email. It's
sitdownstandard@gmail.com. Guys, email us comments, suggestions. Remember, if you do email us and we pick your email for the show, we will give you $5 whole to Steam, Amazon, or Starbucks.
Your choice.
You will free $5, guys.
Yeah, all you got to do is type an email.
Listen, this Obama recession.
Stop it.
This is $5, guys, with free money. Email us. Ask us some questions.
We've got 2 cameras. We're moving up in the world. So definitely check that out. Again, you can always listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio,
all
Google
the usual
Play,
podcast stuff. Obviously on the YouTubes, you can check our beautiful faces.
YouTube.com/SitDownStandard. Or you can even go to our website, SitDownStandard.com. We're everywhere.
And listen, we're planning on a redesign.
That's right. We're going to redesign.
Teaser, feed the birds.
Exactly. Until next time. Bye.
Thanks, guys.